other kid. Hey, not that. Get down from there. Come on. I can't hear when you slapping these cheap earbuds. So I can't hear when he's whacking me with a toy in the ears. That's right, Cecil?
Cecil says no
Yes.
comprende. Whack,
What
whack.
are you doing? What are you doing? You're not gonna whack me in the ear because I can't hear a thing when you do that.
Right, here we go. We're live. So let's see if any chatters arrive. Hello, chatters.
I'm still waiting for the chat window to appear. So, there it
Oh.
is.
Yep,
Oh.
we've got Lisa. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
Hello.
Look, sugar. Lovely Lucy, pretty
Gooseberg.
bird.
Lovely, Lucy.
I wonder if I could. I don't know if it works on these. You can take one of them out. It's hard to hear myself with these cheap earbuds. Hey, I'm gonna have to sit this down for a second. Cecil, you're in the way. Cecil, move. Thank you. I'm not sure. Let me do this. I'll try it. Looks like it still works.
Oh, we have Calvin Thurston here, who says hoot hoot. Hello, Calvin. Good to see you. Then Falcon says here, who sends greetings to everybody, chatters, mods, Dawn, and hooligans. I think she means you, Cecil.
He says
Yeah,
me,
see,
never.
he's not understanding what I'm doing. Why are you messing around? I should have taken the other one out of my ear. That's the one he usually beats on with a toy. Hi, baby.
Sugar also looks kind of upset. I just see it in the replay. Has Jasmine already started her live stream nap?
Yep. Back to her old position today.
I just can tell she's such a life during the meetings now, but not the live streams, so seems to.
No, live streams are for sleeping, according to her. So
Manda close to Jasmine again. And there's Miss Lovely Lucy Prettybird. Hey, Liz. My popcorn friendo.
lovely Lucy, pretty bird. Yeah, I saw that. Sugar eternally hopeful that I will pet her beak. KK is hiding underneath the blanket. Quiet bunch, except for Cecil.
Is KK hiding under a blanket again?
He's nesting under there.
Oh, KK.
Yeah, it's official. The renters we had have flown off with their fledglings. So
Oh, how sweet.
house finches are gone.
Mm.
So we wish them a happy life and hope they do well.
They were certainly a noisy bunch. At first, they would got quiet when I'd go outside, but after a while, they just kept going. More and more
Mm.
food, more food.
Don't feed us.
Oh, I put food out there for them.
Oh, that's sweet.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Hmm? What are you doing, Cecil? Sea salt. Cecil, sea salt. Well, I have to video you. You have to be on screen. Everybody else is just looking like toy birds. It's like I have a room of toy cockatoos.
Oh, Spirit Matter is here, so hello. And he
Hello.
remembers to like the live stream, so thank you for that, Spirit.
Cecil bird. Yeah, everyone else is just sitting around. Okay, this is the boring part. When he's done playing with the phone, then we'll come down and get rowdy. They have been pretty rowdy lately. You have been especially rowdy, but Jasmine's been doing her circles and running laps, and Jasmine and Amanda have been interacting quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Lucy has been pretty birding, and Sugar's been pat me, and KK hasn't gone after anybody, even though he's had some other birds pretty close to him. So he's getting more used to just hanging out. What are you doing? Well, the topic today is going to be, why it's important to learn more about your birds. So that's the topic. Once we get a few more people in, a little time go by. Right, Cecil?
Well, Lisa says that it's going to be a hot Monday in Washington State up there. 86-degree Fahrenheit is predicted.
Yeah. Yeah, looked at my watch, and I was supposed to be. We're still getting warnings. Oh, it's only supposed to max out at 99 today. Really cool.
Meanwhile, in Scotland, it's hailing in June.
Kind of same here in Germany. Raining straight since 3 weeks. Rain and cold.
Yeah, no, we had hailstones on Saturday. It was quite something.
Oh,
Good
wow.
grief.
Summer is the new winter.
Clearly. And then the Met Office had the audacity to tell us that it was the hottest May on record. And it's like, does anyone believe that? It was freezing the whole month.
Well, they can get most people to believe anything. It's the nature of the media. But when you're out in it and it's cold and they tell you it's hot, well, it should be a check on anyone to say, what are they talking about? I think it's funny we're getting heat warnings here because we're in the desert. What do you expect? Well, tomorrow we're looking at 105, which is about 46 centigrade. We haven't hit summer yet. You having fun up there? Doing that away? Are you? Yeah. Whacking me in the face with it?
You can save energy by just putting your car in the sun and then grill everything on the boiler.
Pretty much. I mean, you can just set something outside and cans outside for half an hour, bring them in, and you don't have to use any electricity to
Mm.
cook. You having fun, Cecil? Hmm? You having fun?
I think he's trying to
Uh-oh.
hypnotize the viewers again.
I've told everyone that they're all just sitting, so I guess you'll have to at least see. Well, KK isn't sitting, but he's buried under the
Oh,
blanket there. Sugar's just about knocked out. Her eyes are closed.
no, Mander.
Mander, Mander's
Trying to,
awake.
yeah, he's trying to get close to Auntie Jasmine.
She's just about knocked out.
Mm.
Lucy's awake. She's just right, Luce. Actually, he is busy, as you can see the tail moving, but
Mm.
he's buried under there.
It's really sweet how Lucy's sitting up there.
He's a cute one, that Luce. Aren't you, Lucy? Lovely Lucy, pretty bird.
I always think it's really funny how they're so excited to come into the socialization room, and then once they're there, everyone just sits and takes a nap.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Right.
until the meeting's over, then they get active. Sometimes right before the meeting's over, they'll start to move around. They have a good sense of time.
Yeah,
Mm.
so like, come on, it's time to stop now.
That's KK. KK's funny. He'll be digging around, then he'll have to look around and he'll say something and go back to what he was doing. So as if he's commenting what's going on in the room. All right, KK. Well, I might as well get on to the topic. In dealing with parrots, you have to be kind of a researcher on your own. You have to research the information that we have on parrots because there isn't that much, and it's important to know. As one of our primary vets when we were in California he said that these new veterinarians coming into the field, a lot of them don't want to be avian vets, and the reason is we don't know enough, and the outcomes aren't that great. So um, sometimes getting your bird to the vet right away is absolutely critical. Other times, if you know the situation, you can say, well, this isn't one of those times, but whether you know or don't know, it can make a difference between life or death, as it did with Chloe. I've talked about it before, but she started producing about twice as much clear urine as she should. And that went through an entire day like that. So I took her to the vet the next day in an emergency visit. And then she had to have injections in her chest that I had to give her for 7 days. And she lived. If I hadn't taken her down that day, she would have probably been dead the next day because her liver had stopped functioning. And that's why she was getting all that clear liquid. So, but someone else may look down and say, well, that's funny, it's just, and if you wait a few days, that may just be the end. So the more you know, and I learned that the first time I encountered that bit of information was on an abstract that I was studying on the web. I believe it is mentioned in the Basava Manual for Citizen Birds that comes out of the UK. But if I hadn't known it, it just would have looked odd to me. That's weird. But knowing that there is a special shunt there that will bypass the liver if there's a problem with the liver, that saved her life. She had an infection in her liver. So, and the psychological side too. If you don't understand their psychology, you can have all kinds of fun. Um, Screaming birds, biting birds, all that is because of the lack of understanding. And sometimes, even if you do understand it, as it is with Bob, I mean, I understand that he's territorial, but he's difficult because in his case, he doesn't care if he makes a choice he's going to do something. He doesn't care what the consequences are. So that's rarity. Normally, all living beings care about the consequences. But to him, the excitement of going after another bird and trying to protect his territory is more important than anything else. So he'll take being put back in his cage. I don't believe that's what he wants because he obviously doesn't care. I mean, he acts like he's upset about it. But what I mean by that is that he will fly up against the cage door and try to get your fingers if you're going to put him back in his cage. But so even understanding the behavior can sometimes not help. It's rare. I mean, you don't usually run into that situation. I mean, almost 99 out of 100 times you're going to be able to solve uh, a situation like that. But when you've got as many birds as we have here out at the same time, and you have a bird that just waits until you're not looking, and that's what he does. He just waits until you're not looking, and then he goes and lashes out at another bird. So he has to come up by himself, and that limits him to about a half hour a day, unless I can figure a way to clone myself. Right, Cecil? Right, Cecil? What are you doing down there? Oh, no, you don't. No, no, you're not going to do that. He'll go after KK when he's moving underneath the blanket. No, it's not a good game. We don't play that game. He's not trying to hurt anybody when he does that, but he will. If KK is moving around under there, he'll try to play games with him, and he could hurt him. That beak could puncture an eye or something. So can't have that behavior. No, no, we're not doing that. We're not. Bite me if you want to. No, you don't. Okay. Cecil bird.
So Rosebud is here. So welcome.
Hey, Rosebud.
Hello.
So understanding biology is obviously important. If you don't know the signs of illness, you're in trouble. Um, and even then, as that one doctor was telling me, that a lot of the outcomes aren't that good because we don't have that much information. So you can try to help, but as it was with Peaches, they knew what she had. They had no way to fix it. So all they had were some things that could prolong her life for a few more months. And depending on the bird, what are you doing? I see someone moving into it. Is he gone over there? Yes, he has. You guys. But still, I mean, in many cases, catching the stuff early will make a huge difference. And it's the same in behavior. If you understand how behavior, the basics of behavior, that can make a big difference too in your life and the birds. Some people would look over and see a bird strobing the bars of the cage with their beak going back and forth. Think that's funny. That's funny behavior. That's stereotypic behavior, and it means they're becoming neurotic. So you see that, and you want to change it. You have to put more toys in there. Give them some way to keep their minds. Yes, your mind, keep their minds active. If you don't know about stereotypic behavior, if your bird starts moving its head from one side to the other, kind of like this, you start going like this, something, any repetitive behavior is stereotypic, and it means it's a sign of neurosis or it can be a sign of advanced psychosis too for a bird that's been left alone or not interacted with for a long time. What's that face? Is that a Cecil face? Is that a Cecil face?
Oh, he's such a cutie. Oh,
Nice
my
Cecil.
Cecil.
Nice Cecil. Hey boy.
Where's KK? Is he also in that corner?
Yeah, actually, KK is underneath the blanket and playing with wood through the blanket. I don't know when he decided to do
Oh
that.
my gosh. Huh,
He's
Cecil.
been
Just a few eggs or chickens are missing in that cute nest.
Mander's eyes are wide awake, but he's just sitting there. Mander.
Mm. I think he wants to make a good impression on Jasmine.
So, two important books to have are the Basaba Manual for citizen birds. Excuse me. It's the British Small Animal Veterinary Association. It's the BSAVA Manual of Citizen Birds, and that's written for people who are intermediate. You're not talking about an advanced medical book, but it will give you the basics so you'll understand the way their bodies work. And that's kind of critical. There was a video of a veterinarian. This is not going to say who this was, but there was a video of a veterinarian who did not understand. You could tell they did not understand they were looking at an air sac. They thought that was an unusual thing to see this air sac in action on a parrot. It's like, that's an air sac. Yeah. So this was not an avian vet, needless to say. This was somebody who sees birds but is not an avian vet. That doesn't mean that all veterinarians who are not certified don't know about birds. There are some like that. But to not know what an air sac was, that's pretty
Yeah, that's
scary.
embarrassing.
Yeah, that's kind of
Very much so.
scary.
And somebody who has at least read the Basaba manual knows what an air sac is. No. And it gives you a breakdown of their physiology and their biology, so you kind of know how things are working. And that's important. Of course, the most important things are to study their poop every day, make sure their weight isn't dropping. But there's other things that you need a little knowledge to figure out. A lot of what you need is right there in that book. It even has charts, flow charts that you can follow. There's an old flow chart in there about feather picking that is the old school kind of way they used to deal with it. First thing they used to do was they thought it had something to do with metal toxicity. It doesn't. But that's what they thought. So they take quite a bit of blood to test to see if they had metal toxicity, which most avian vets now will not do that. Dr. Jenkins doesn't do it. Dr. Young doesn't do it. Because that's not the cause. And on top of that, that's a lot of blood. It takes a lot of blood to do those tests, and these guys don't have much blood. You've got a conure or a cockatiel or a budgie. You're not doing and a vet were to say we want to do a metals test on your bird, I would get a second opinion. There's no way. It's a lot of blood. And they can't replace it like we can. So that's another thing. When you read the Basaba manual, you're going to know that they can't replace blood the way we can because they don't have a blood production system called marrow in their bones. They have hollow bones and air goes through there. So it's all pretty fascinating. I know that there's some videos out there of, I'm going to do it now. It's either being 70 or whatever, but my favorite physicist who plays the bongos, who played the bongos, he's gone now. I can't think of his name. But anyway, he was saying that he was talking about the importance of understanding things and how one of his colleagues had said, well, with all of your scientific mind, you lose the beauty of looking at a flower. And he said just the opposite. He says you can still see the beauty of the flower, but you understand what its purpose is and how it was formed and how the DNA worked to make it what it is. And all of that actually enhances your understanding and your appreciation. So
Wasn't it Carl Sagan that said that?
No.
Hmm.
I'm surprised Amy hasn't said his name. Since he was
it Feynman?
Yes, Richard Feynman. Thank you.
Yeah. I knew it was one or the other.
Richard Feynman. Well, yeah, because they both address the public to a great degree.
Amy was just distracted by we have a male blackbird who is basically our family bird because he's kind of living in our garden, and he was just in front of my window looking.
Oh.
So I was over to say hi. Now he's singing at the
if you start reading the Basaba manual and you start looking at, well, say if you look at their eyes, how their eyes work, you will be amazed at how big their eyes are because you don't actually see, you only see about a quarter of what their eye is. They have huge eye sockets and an amazing ability to see. And you would never know that just to look at them. So, and in their hearing, I mean, these are animals that, they make loud sounds and you wonder how that doesn't damage their hearing. It does. They just grow the follicles back, which we don't. We lose our hearing, we've lost it. They don't, they grow them back. So there's so much that you can learn that it's fascinating. But of course, the school system, and I've said it a million times, I'll say it again, the school system in the West is terrible. And the reason it's terrible is you walk out of the basic levels of school not wanting to learn anymore. Well, if that's what schools do, then we ought to abolish them and try something else. Because the point of an education is, originally the word education meant to learn how to learn. So if you walk out of school and you don't care about learning, there's a problem with the school system, right? What do you think? I think you're talking too much. Yeah. You're going to be nice? You're going to go under there with him? Okay. I don't mind you going under there. I just don't want you going on top and trying to bite him through the blanket. Yeah. You just have to go in there and hide, huh? Yeah, they're also doing right now. So you get insights into the way their bodies work, and then you learn how to deal with aspects of things like how you handle disease management and preventative care, that kind of thing. You learn to, for example, I know I've mentioned it before, but there was somebody online, this was some time ago, on that evil platform they call Facebook, with Mr. Puzzleface, who runs the company. But there was somebody on there who was telling this woman who had a She had a yellow-crowned Amazon. It was a double yellow-headed Amazon. It was an Amazon anyway, and it had these little round spots that were a half an inch or 3 millimeters, that kind of thing, and they're just circles on the wing, brown spots. And I have no polite way to say this. Some moron was telling her to put something on the feathers. And so I went and I thought I knew because I thought I'd seen it in the, hi, sweetheart, in um, the Saba manual. So I went in there and that's a sign in Amazons of liver disease. So I told her to get her bird to the vet, which is always good. Go to the vet. You're not sure, go to the vet. If you know something because you've studied and you're sure, that's great. But getting a second opinion from the vet doesn't hurt. But anyway, she took the bird to the vet, and if she had listened to this idiot on the internet, her bird would have died. So taking advice over the internet, if it's advice, go to the vet, that's perfect advice, that works. But if they're trying to tell you, oh well, you can spray this or you can do this, I would just say to them, I've got two words for you, and it's not good morning. They shouldn't be giving advice because they're not qualified. I'm not a vet. I'm not qualified to give medical advice. I mean, I can see in this particular case, like, you need to get your bird to the vet, but anybody could say that. But I'd seen it right. I actually took a picture, which, copyright violation, right? But I took a picture of from the book and sent it to her and said, give your bird to the vet. And she went. I said, also buy this book. And the next time you won't have to reach out to people that don't know what they're doing, right, Mander? As far as psychology goes, if you want to get an overview of what their psychology is like, the best overview we have, that's where the Manual of Parrot Behavior by Andrew Lucer that's the book that's going to give you insights into their complex behaviors and an appreciation for how complicated they can be. And you might see a behavior that normally would be like, well, that's odd. I'll give you an example. These people I knew, they had a female umbrella that was vibrating. Okay. So they called it Sweaty Bird. They had no idea what it was. They were overstimulating the birds, and it was reacting like it was trying to, wanting to mate. They had no idea what it was, and they kept doing it. If you know what it is, you want to stop. You don't want to hyperstimulate your bird. So again, the lack of knowledge was putting the bird in danger. So the Basava manual is wonderful, and although it's not written, I'm trying to think. It's not like reading the newspaper. It's not easy reading. Not that many people read the newspaper anymore, but it's not easy reading. But it's fascinating to see what we do know. For example, there's a section in there. People will say, "Well, why can't I put a male and female bird in a cage?" If you read the section there on mate aggression, you won't do it, because if you put two umbrellas in a cage, you may come back and find the female dead because the male will become aggressive. And that happened with Snowball, in that he just because he's not in the wild, he got aggressive with Chloe, and I had to make sure that keep them apart after that. Chloe was never that happy anymore, but she wasn't that happy with him. But they had 5 good years where they spent a lot of time together, but that had to stop. So you have to make decisions. What are you going to do based on what we know, not just on your gut feeling? And Carl Sagan, as Eleanor mentioned earlier, mentioned his name. Someone asked him question and said, well, what's your gut feeling? And he said, I try not to think with my gut. And that's how it should be. You want to get as much information as you can, especially with these guys, because they are so complicated. Can you see him now? Okay. Sure. Make sure he can see him so he doesn't accidentally bite him through the blanket, the beach blanket. Now, if you're completely new to it, you admit to yourself that I really don't know much, then Parrots for Dummies is a good book to start with. It gives you a little bit of information about their biology and physiology, gives you a little bit of the beginner's level information on their psychology. That's a good book to start with. I know I started with it. That was my first book on parrots. Nikki Mustafi, who wrote the book, did a good job. She's the one that I use this myself sometimes, where she talks about working with these birds. Would you bring a polar bear into your house and expect to get along with it? Wouldn't you want to know how a polar bear functions before you brought it into your home? I mean, these guys are not predators, but they're complicated. So, and they got powerful beaks. And the big problem there is a lot of people, when they get bit, they just run away from it. That's it. I'm done. I want no more to do with these birds because it bit me. Well, it bit you because you didn't have knowledge. You didn't know how to deal with them. This little one who's hiding down here. Now, you two, no. You're getting too, yeah, you guys separate a little bit. Come on. Come on. All right, that's better. Just tails. All I see is a couple of tails in there. All right, you guys. Do some preening. You gonna preen him? All right, all right. Looking at me like put that down. Yeah, Parrots for Dummies covers the basics of parrot care. It's dietary needs and creating an enriching environment. And as far as behavior goes, Barbara Heidenreich has some good books on behavior. She has books on dealing with aggression, which is usually territoriality. Sometimes it's fear, but it's usually territoriality. And she uses positive reinforcement. She's a graduate of Dr. Friedman's courses as well. So a good introduction to behavior is Karen Pryor's Don't Shoot the Dog. It's not about parrots, but it talks about the basics of training. Keep in mind, she mentions a clicker, and a clicker is fine for a dog. I haven't yet seen a dog that turns around and makes a clicker sound at you. But if you're training parrots, you probably want to use Good Bird rather than a clicker. But it is good basic fundamental understanding of behavior training. So Karen Pryor, someone else who uses ABA. So in the old days, everybody who was training animals was a commandant. You will do what I say, or I will beat you within an inch of your life. That was kind of the tone that people used while they were training animals. And there are some animals that respond to that, but not the kind I'd like to train. To lions and tigers, you really have to make sure they know who's in charge. But even then, it can go wrong. That happened in Las Vegas to a couple of famous magicians as well. And the ultimate book on learning is not about parrots, but it's the one that I studied. The first one I studied was Paul Chance's Learning and Behavior. And it is fascinating. I mean, some of the stuff in there, there's some interesting stories. Hi, baby. Interesting stories in there. The one about the child who liked to be handcuffed. Another one is about the famous horse everybody thought could do math when actually it was just really, it was terribly good at watching your response, and it waited for you to go like, okay, that's the right number, and then it would stop. Um, Clever
The horses
Hans.
are.
Hmm?
That's how horses are. They're the best observers of each other and of humans.
Yeah, that's what the book says. And for a long time, people actually believed this was an incredibly smart horse. Well, as far as being able to detect human behavior, it was. It was smart, but it's like you say, it's part of the horse nature. Yeah, the story is called Clever Hands in the book. Clever Hans to pronounce it correctly. So the essential, what I think are essential if you're starting out, um, uh, Parrots for Dummies is a great one. Keep in mind that the producers of those series, they do everything they can to not cross boundaries. So it doesn't talk about clipping. It doesn't talk about any of the controversial areas, but it does give you a good basic overview. So, and then the basic one for training is don't shoot the dog. More advanced in learning and behavior by Paul Chance for understanding how behavior works. The manual of parrot behavior, getting an overview of how parrot behavior works. Or in this case, doesn't, because they're all just sitting here until I put the phone down. Well, he's digging. At least you can see him digging under there. He was kicking just a minute ago. What are you doing? You don't want me filming that? What is the look? What's the look? And for physiology and biology, the Basaba Manual for Citizen Birds. There's also clinical avian medicine, but that's for all birds. It's not just parrots. So you're going to get into looking at birds that don't function like these guys do. And there is some in clinical avian medicine, even though it's an excellent reference, there's some information in there that is wrong, as in it talks about homeopathy, which is bunk. Sorry, anyone who uses homeopathic methods, sorry, it's been disproven so many times. There's actually nothing in a homeopathic formula. If you, they sometimes add stuff to it, but I mean, the actual homeopathic element is, you can use a gas spectrometer. There's nothing in there. What was it? Well, someone said, I think, I'm trying to remember who said it. I can't. Maybe it was Richard Dawkins might have said this, but he said, if water has memory, which is the basic idea of homeopathy, then does it remember all the urine that was in it? So, so we won't talk about sea salt and where that comes from. What are you doing? I like sea salt, but I know where it comes from. What are you doing?
Well, there are some people who say they won't drink water because the fish have bread in it.
Yeah, my dad used to joke about that actually.
Mm.
But he did drink because he preferred to drink other things besides water, fruit juice and that kind of thing. But he did drink water, but or is
No,
that
surprising the number of people that don't drink water though.
yeah, I like to put some kind of flavoring in it. I'm that way, but not much. I get this crystal white and I put it in at half dilution because it's way too sweet unless you do, just so it has some kind
Oh.
of flavor. But that's my form of water. But you got to get water. And these guys, we don't even know. It's fairly obvious they don't drink water the way we do. They have to bend down to get it and then lift their heads up. I think in the wild they just get underneath the leaf and raise their beak and let it dribble in because it's raining all the time.
Yeah, that's, I suppose, how it's going after I was in the tropical house in the zoo last week, where they just started to rain when we entered. Yes, they started to rain while visitors can go in. So it was a sprinkle rain and we got all wet. It was about 30 degrees inside and 100% humidity. So you know how it is probably on the island of Saram. It was
Hmm.
beautiful, lovely butterflies and some pretty scary monkeys. One looked like he's close to jump on me, but okay. But I
I have
think over
something
there,
like
yeah, you can see how the water basically runs then after it starts to rain, runs down the leaves. So that's probably the way they drink. And I also see a lot of people who have pudgy fountains and they just love it when the water comes from above.
yeah, and
Oh,
peaches did, and so did Coco. They love that. I think that, and I've looked and looked and looked, and most of the stuff they have available to do that are cat and dog waters, and the problem with them is you got to figure a way to hide the cords, and the pumps on those things don't last very long. I really need to design something on my own. But talking about going into an enclosure like that, what used to be called the Wild Animal Park, and they made the mistake of changing it to the Safari Park, but it's a huge place. I mean, I used to go there and walk in the morning, an hour and a half, 5 miles. It didn't start that way, but I was doing 5 miles a day. But they have a spot where you can go in, and the lorikeets are, and you can spend $1, which just you're just giving money to help a great organization. It's one of the good organizations. A lot of zoos are not so good, but they work hard to preserve endangered species. They've done great work with cheetahs too. But anyway, I used to go in there and you want to buy some nectar? And I go, no, no, I have another reason for going in. And then I'd tell them, and they just look horrified because I would go in there and I'd watch these people, and they would feed the lorikeets, and then the lorikeets would go up in the trees, and it was almost like clockwork. You feed a lorikeet, about 30 seconds later, a whole bunch of yellow fluid comes out of the lorikeet and lands on the people below. I would just stand there. Yeah, I called it I have to go and see the bombardiers, and I'd go in there and watch the bombardiers get people. And I
well,
know, it's a cruel. Everybody's got a cruel side. That was my cruel side.
well, you
That's
know
just
what goes in must come out.
yeah. And these people had no clue. It never dawned on them. If you're feeding a whole bunch of golden liquids to these birds, you're probably going to get dunked. And I actually got snide looks from people. This is awful. I shouldn't even tell this story, but because it's rare that I ever think this way. But that was my little spot where I'd go at the Wild Animal Park, which I went to frequently before I had a lot of birds. And I spent a couple of hours there because I lived close. I could get there and out. Be 2 hour trip would be a trip around the walk to walk around the park at a high speed. We're talking dueling, because it's 5 mile walk. But anyway, I went in there one day, and there was this older lady in a wheelchair, and it was fairly warm, so they parked her right under the trees. And because there's open sections and there's trees there, so they parked her right under the trees, and then they fed. It was a big family feeding all these lorikeets. Well, the lorikeets got in the tree, and then you heard this lady going, "Oh my God!" Rah! And they look over, and she was just getting rained on from above. And I'm standing there laughing. It's not going to hurt her, but I'm just standing there laughing because I mean, you have to be pretty dumb to put grandma under the tree, right? Under the trees when you're feeding this stuff to the lorikeets. But
Yeah, I don't know what they expected, really.
no, it just shows how ignorant people are. That doesn't mean they're stupid. Ignorance means you didn't get taught the basics of life when you were in school, which happens a lot here. But
Oh, don't point at Mander. That's offensive.
That might frighten him.
No, I mean that when Don was talking about ignorance, Amanda, he missed something in his
Oh man,
education, but he was raised in a
no,
bar. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
no, no, it's not his. He's not ignorant. No, not at all. He walked over here, so I thought I'd put him on screen. Now,
Yeah,
see,
that's sweet. We love Mander. He's pink
it's
and
Yeah.
almost,
fluffy.
it gets close to time and they start getting active. I got Cecil up on
Hmm.
my shoulder now. I got him coming over.
Yeah, Mander wants to
Uh,
be social lately. He practiced yesterday with Jasmine intensely. Jasmine was like, ah, go away. And he was like, oh no, I like you, Auntie.
he
Well, that's
he
Mm.
wants
good.
to
They were
come over
getting
and
along.
he wants to come over right now too. But where is KK?
Ah,
If
no.
KK if KK figures, I don't even know where KK is. Where are you? Oh, there he is. If he figures out that he's over here, it's going to be. I will let him come over once I don't
Mm-mm.
have to hold the camera. But yeah, if KK figures out he's over here, then it's World War III, and I have to throw the phone. And KK will say, "No, you can't sit next to him." But
No. Scary, scary big pink birds.
it'd be nice to
Nobody
know what
knows
he
what has happened
thinks.
on that particular island.
Mm-mm.
Must be a
No,
strange place.
Hmm.
I would like to know what he thinks. I'll never know, but there's something about pink birds that sets him off. So maybe he knew one that wasn't so nice. Who knows?
Mm.
These ones are pretty calm most of the time. Although yesterday, I think Jazz had just about enough of salamander, so she was telling him off.
Yeah, but gently, she just made herself big and roused, and then actually she walked away.
Oh, she made the right choice.
Mm. Amanda tried to follow her, but Don shouted, so they still can hear it in Las Vegas. So, yeah, after that, Amanda reacted.
Yeah, poor
Amanda,
Manda.
this
He had a difficult childhood. He doesn't understand.
Mm. But I was surprised how long it went good. So he could sit directly in front of Jasmine and nothing bad happened. Also, they were just sitting and looking at each other and then sitting next to each other. That was very interesting to watch.
Mm.
It's just hilarious. The Moluccans, we haven't seen any social skills in them yet, so it's always interesting to see that.
no, the umbrellas mostly seem to have some kind of they have a low level of social skills, but they do have them. I haven't really seen much other than in Peaches. Didn't see too much in the way of social skills. Peaches was excellent socially, but
Although better with humans than with other birds, I think. Although she was quite good with the other birds, she kept them calm.
Mhm.
yeah, she sure did. She took over from Coco because Coco was the one who originally kept everybody on their toes. But now I don't have anybody that does that. So
And
it's all on
sometimes you
me.
take Cecil to calm KK.
Yeah,
I still don't get
yeah,
over that fact that you can calm somebody with Cecil.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a
That
strange one, isn't it?
it works. Yeah, just put Cecil between the one and the other situation, and Cecil will calm him down. But
Oh, Cecil, you're such
Mander,
a
I
good
will.
friend.
You can get down in a few minutes, okay? And I'll take my life in my hands, okay? Pretty much what it is, because although KK would want to go after Mander and attack him, he ends up going after me because he's protecting me. And if you truly want to understand that, I think reading the manual for parrot behavior is going to be your best bet. They defend their mates and their flock mates. So it's okay. You can sit there a little while longer. We've only got a few minutes left. So if one person picks up one of the books I've mentioned, I will feel like I achieved something today. I think you can get Don't Shoot the Dog as an audiobook. So I tend to read almost everything audio or listen to it because I don't have the time to sit down, and besides, the birds eat the pages. What was it my dad said? You send kids to school,
Yep.
you
Cecil
buy them
chews
books,
faster than you read.
my dad says you send kids to school, you buy them books, and they eat the pages. I think he was talking about parrots and didn't know it. I had Pippa, she's gotten a little out of control, so I had her with me last night while I was studying, and I had to keep taking her away from eating my notebook.
So let's say hi to Bukchia Shan, who just joined and says the birds are beautiful, huh, Cecil? You got a compliment.
They certainly are.
Sea salt. Well, Mander decided to go, so
Oh, poor
he's
Mander.
going back over there.
I think he
Yeah.
goes and wakes his auntie
Maybe.
Yes.
playing the alarm clock.
He sat down and she flicked a feather. I could see her. They'll flick their primary feathers if they get disturbed by something. So she just flicked the primary feather. I couldn't see both sides of her, but I did see her do it here. Probably did it on both sides, which is basically, oh no. It's that reaction to, now I've got somebody bothering me.
Mm.
It's that baby bird.
Baby Mander.
Mm. He's so cute, and he just wants to get along with his aunties, or at least being close to
Doesn't know
them.
how.
Not
He
fun
needs
being the odd one out.
No, he wants to have a Moluccan.
I know how it is. I was
Needs
the odd one out when I was a kid, so I know.
Mm.
Well, Amanda needs a male role model.
Oh, that's the fact.
I think I did too when I was, because my father was working like 16 hours a day, so I didn't see him much.
Mm.
Hey, Cecil, what are you doing? Yes, grab my face. I know. Grab my face. Cecil bird. The big Cecil bird. Well, folks, thanks for coming. And thank you, Amy and Eleanor, for being here to moderate. And you can find out more about us on our website or on the links to our link tree, which has got all kinds of fun information for you. And we'll be back on Wednesday, we hope. You never know what's going to happen in this world, but we're going to try, right, Cecil?
That's the plan. And thank you, Don, for the live stream. Thank you, birdies, for behaving.
Thank you. And thank Amy. We will see you guys